Oh, again! No way that my kid will be able to close it. So I'm gonna go over and what I'm gonna do to break this glove in. First thing I did was I changed all that nylon lace into skate lace, and you can see that how deep and big that pocket is now, and being a double T, it really opens it up. Okay, you can see we got a nice seal on that, but it's still very, very stiff. First thing you want to do is bring a pot of water to a boil. And then once it starts to steam, make sure you wear an oven mitt to protect it from the steam. But you're gonna hold the glove over top of the steam so that it can get into the cuff. And you're gonna kind of hold it there for about a minute, minute and a half. And what this is gonna do is gonna heat up everything on the inside. Heat up the foam, heat up all of the plastics, which is gonna make it much more pliable and easier to move. And then you're gonna do the outside of the cuff on top. So really get the break of the glove over top of the steam, really heat up everything on the outside so that throughout the entire thing, it is completely warm. So 1 minute on the inside and 1 minute on the outside. And then once you get it off the heat, you're gonna put the glove on and you're gonna teach it how to close properly so you get a good seal. And then once you get that pattern of closing the way you want it, you're just gonna keep working it and working it and working it until that glove learns that pattern and that closing path that you want it to take. I got an old jersey, now I've just closed it and I've tightened it up. Now I'm just gonna let this sit closed like this and cool down for about 12 hours. And then after 12 hours, I'm just gonna repeat the process. A lot of guys breaking in gloves on the internet using water, putting stuff in the oven. Why do you wanna buy a brand new glove, spend hundreds of dollars, and then soak it in water or put it in an oven? I mean, it's insanity. And this is something that I've been saying forever is you don't have to close the glove to catch pucks. You need pucks to go in the pocket. And that's why in my other video where I relaced it and I opened it up and allowed paths of the pucks to get into the gloves better, that is the number one thing to be able to catch pucks, is bigger pocket. 100% honest, the most closable, easy to use glove at the junior level is a Warrior. And the thumb angle on the Warrior is terrible. You won't catch pucks with it. So don't fall for the idea that you have to close gloves to catch pucks. Go with the glove that has the best access to the pocket. Don't get caught up in the idea that it has to be broken in. Close it. Did I do a good job breaking that thing in? It's pretty good because you are weaker than wet toilet paper. So that fact that it closes is pretty damn good. That was better. The elbow stayed up at least there. Is he throwing deception on you or what? I'm lost. You hear that? He said you shoot too slow. Woo!
See how we're going here? Elbows in there, okay? So just gonna jump, and then we're gonna try to rotate the wrist. Ready? You guys have to start. We can start going a bigger circle with our arms, but by the end of it, we want to be just wrists.
You both have the worst hair in the league too. You can see this thing. Hang on. Look at this. Get a little side view. You got the Lloyd Christmas in the front. You got the Billy Ray Cyrus in the back. I'm money back. I want my money back. And then we got the boy band. I got a part in the middle here, like it's 1996. Hey, Kurt Cobain called. He wants his hair back.
Years and years I roamed.
Talk about that plank the whole time, right? We're planking, right? What's a board? What's a plank? Yeah, it's straight, it's low. So when I'm here, I don't want my butt and my hips raising up. I'm staying low, driving through. Look at my legs. Keeping that plank.
From God.
Attaboy, RC. Come on. Keep going. Come on. Stand up.
I'm Dr. Curtis Ackerman. I'm a sports vision optometrist. We have Milton Vision Sports Vision Training Camp going on with the exclusions of 8 goaltenders. We do a full evaluation. We use our computerized eye tracking to look for deficiencies in the way the visual system is functioning. And then what we do is we come up with a plan to train processing speed, decision-making, hand-eye coordination, and then we integrate that into the systems that they'll be using. So depending on the age of the goalie, if it's an older goalie, we have a couple of junior and pro goalies coming in this summer. We'll be talking about integrating how they're using the systems, understand on what system the other team was running, or maybe the systems that the other team was running, paying attention to see how fast players are skating so that they can understand better. If it's a 3-on-2 and somebody's going into the corner, how fast is that person going to be in? What's the most likely position that they're going to be in? So that when you have to make that push, you know where you're going to be pushing to most likely. So we're just trying to give the brain the ability to process all the information that we're getting visually faster and more accurately, so that the reactions can be better and more accurate, so you can make that first save the way that you want to make it.
July 3rd, and it is the week of the Brick. For those of you that don't know, the Brick tournament is an elite tournament for 10-year-olds. And it's held every year at West Edmonton Mall over the Canada Day long weekend, and it goes a week long. The Brick is the most prestigious tournament for young kids in the world. And there's a huge alumni of guys that have played in the Brick that have gone on to the NHL. This year's Brick tournament is the 2015 age group. So I have a particularly high interest in this because this is my son's birth year. Also, that there's a lot of kids in this tournament that my son plays against. And there's also a couple kids in this tournament that I've personally trained or that come to my facility. I wanted to look into what the numbers are saying about the goalies that have played in the Brick. So I went back 20 years. So I went back from the 2005 all the way up into this year, and I looked at all of the success plans and how the goalies that have played in the Brick and where their career trajectory has gone. The goalies that would have played in the 2017 Brick would have been eligible for this year's NHL draft. 2017, there was 2 goalies that got drafted in the NHL draft this year. That being Jack Ivankovic, who played for Toronto, and Gabriel Dag, who played for the Montreal team. Both of those goalies that played in the 2017 Brick were drafted this year. Which years had the most success? There was 4 goalies that played in the 2016 Brick that got drafted to the NHL. Carter George, Nicholas Kemp, Ryerson Leanders, and Landon Miller. The number 1 guy in the 2011 Brick tournament was Spencer Knight, who has over 100 games, and he's going to be the number 1 goalie for the Chicago Blackhawks moving forward, and probably going to carve out a pretty good career for himself over the next couple years playing on that team. The other guy would be Dustin Wolf. So Dustin Wolf, who's now the number 1 goalie in Calgary, that 2011 Brick tournament has had the most success in terms of getting guys in the NHL that have played the most amount of games. And being really, really young, Spencer Knight and Dustin Wolf probably have very good NHL careers ahead of them, being only 24 years. There was a couple years where there was 0 NHL draft picks, that being 2013, 2009, and 2008. They had 0 NHL draft picks from the goalies that played in that Brick tournament. Even though it is very, very elite, hasn't had the direct progression to NHL minutes, other than a few very, very targeted years. Now, watching a lot of this, you're incredibly impressed with the goalie from Team Alberta. His last name is Schmaltz or Schmaz. I've watched him play 4 or 5 games, and he's a kid that I think, and looking at his body as a 10-year-old, that there is a massive ceiling. I'm also a big fan of the Williams kid from Team Pennsylvania. Unbelievable puck stopping ability and instincts. He's an unbelievably good puck tracker. He is one of the best puck stoppers and play readers that I've seen in the 2025 Brick. And then there's guys that I really have enjoyed watching. The Radburn kid in Detroit has really been fun to watch. I like the Heffernan kid in Montreal, very athletic, competes, has good technique. Anybody who has a kid who's going to be at 2016, 17, 18, and you are looking into the Brick in the future, it is an unbelievably prestigious premier tournament. But you guys got to remember that I went back and looked from the 2005 Brick up until the 2017 Brick, and there's only 21 goalies drafted over the course of that 12-year span. So yes, it is very, very prestigious, very high-end elite tournament. But if it's not in your budget, if it's not something as a family that you can justify to do to chase a Brick spot, if it's not something where your kid is just not at that level at 10 years old, remember, it doesn't mean he's not going to be at that level when it gets down to his 17 years old, 7 years later when they're in their NHL draft year. Yes, the brick is an awesome opportunity. It is an awesome week, but it is not the be-all and end-all. As of now, only the 2011 brick tournament has really produced any full-time NHL goalies. Remember this, there's not one way to make it. There's lots of ways. There's not one path. And for goalies, it's the goalies that go from 15 to 18 that develop the most and learn the game the most that are going to have that long-term plan where they just keep getting better through their 20s. And those are the guys that are going to put themselves into a position to be full-time NHL goalies. We're looking to be the lucky goalie that wins this gear. There's 2 things I need you to do. Number 1, I need you to comment on all the vlog videos. Number 2, you need to be a subscriber to this channel. At the end of the month, I'm going to randomly pick one of my vlog videos. I'm going to randomly pick somebody in the comment section. It's really easy, guys. If you want this gear, go do those things right now. Be entered in your draw at the end of the month.
I'm making this harder, chasing good karma.